Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir.
is not going to be on Zoom meeting, correct?
I'm sorry?
Administrator Scott, she's not going to be on a Zoom meeting tonight, correct?
Correct. She had a family matter.
Okay, you can go ahead and begin.
Okay. All right, we'll start all over. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Committee of the Whole via Zoom for Monday, June 15th. Let the record reflect that it is 6:35. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Denton?
Present.
Trustee Steve?
Present.
Trustee House? Again, is joining us later. Trustee Brown, Board of Trustees be absent. Trustee Holmes? Absent. Trustee Henyard?
Present.
Okay. Mayor, we have 3 trustees present. With yourself, that is a quorum.
Okay, is anyone heard from Trustee Holmes? Madam Clerk?
I have not.
Okay. All right. Trustee Denton, I'm going to give you the honors of starting us off with prayer tonight from San Francisco.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for another day. Thank you for letting us gather together to do the good will of the village of Dolton. Be with us, guide us. Please lead us, Lord. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, thank you. We might as well start with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
for
which
which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, great. Okay, next thing on the agenda is general announcements. Any?
I do have one, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
May I proceed?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to remind everyone that pursuant to the schedule of meetings that the board adopted late last year for 2020, the next scheduled board meeting right now is not for the first Monday in July, which of course is on the holiday, but for the third Monday, which is July 20th. So that's, as of right now, that is the next scheduled meeting. That would be a regular board meeting. And then the next one after that, again on the summer schedule, is for August 3rd, the first Monday. We would have a meeting, again, a regular board meeting. And then there is no meeting presently scheduled for the third Monday in August, which is the 17th. So between now and the end of August, scheduled are July 20th and August 3rd.
Okay, great, thanks. Trustee, you had an announcement?
Yes, I do. Also, Mayor, some people contacting saying that they can't view us via YouTube. Do you know if that links up or not?
Not the person to ask. Giovanni?
Hey, Trustee Henyard, I am, one time before we had an issue with the live link on between YouTube and Zoom, and this time the live started and that same issue was happening. So I'm kind of on the back end now trying to work through it. I'm recording the meeting through Zoom, so the meeting is being recorded. I'm having a hard time getting the connection up. And as a backup option, I'm trying to see if maybe I can possibly put it on Facebook. But right now, I'm kind of working through the technical part and working with IT, who's Derek right now. But everything has been recorded thus far. So it is recorded. It's just there's some issue with the connection at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good evening, residents and board. I just want to keep you guys updated with what's going on as it relates to COVID-19. The numbers are as follows for June 15th of 2020. 2,978 people got tested. 362 people tested positive. And we had 2 more deaths, bringing the total to 14. And you can find this information through the medical examiner's office. I had 3 questions. I guess these questions for the chief, police chief. Are you on, police chief Mobley?
Yes, trustee.
Okay. You want me to read them all, or just you want me to read one and then answer, or how you want me to do it?
What are you reading off? I'm sorry.
Some questions for you. I got 3 questions. Basically, the residents just want to know what we're doing with our police station. So the first question is, are people entering the police stations temperatures checked, including the staff, visitors, and those arrested?
Currently, no. I think we've went through the wave of all our people. We sanitize our station twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. And everybody has seemed to be doing healthy. Like I said, I think we went through our wave. Nobody has been sick after all our employees that went out. They came back successfully and everybody's been in good health.
Okay. I guess for future reference, I do think we should do something as it relates to temperatures being checked, only because I'm pretty sure you know that a second wave is coming, they're stating. They're shooting towards October, but I just want to make sure we're proactive and not being reactive once they do hit. So we can do things to put stuff in place, because I know a lot of people not talking about COVID because so much stuff is going on, but I just want us to tighten up if that's okay. The next question is, are police officers wearing masks upon traffic stops and other engagements with the public?
Yes, they're supplied with all PPE materials and they're advised to protect themselves. I think that's something that goes without saying. They're definitely protecting themselves from the public when they're out there dealing with them.
Okay, and the last question is, are you reviewing policies and procedures and languages as it relates to the use of restraints, deadly force, and chokeholds? I know you're aware that Mayor, Clark over there in Harvey basically went away with all of that. So I don't know what we're doing over here. That's why I'm asking.
Well, we have use of force training every year. So our officers are well equipped and adapt to the use of force policy. And I don't foresee that being an issue in our department. I can't speak for anybody else, but Dolton Police Department. We talked about that in roll calls, and we had a meeting about that. And I don't foresee that being an issue. But
Okay.
yeah, they are current with the use of force policy, and we have to go over. That's mandated each year for the Illinois State Training Board.
Okay, appreciate it. Last question is for you, Mayor. I know I asked last board meeting as it relates to pay raises, and I see that a couple people got pay raises. So, Mayor, if you can explain to me, I guess, who got pay raises, how much was the pay raises, or when was the pay raises? Because no one answered me via email. So here we are.
If you want to discuss pay raises and personnel issues, then you need to discuss with me personally. We're not going to do that here at the committee of the whole with the public.
Okay, it ain't so much about the public, Mayor, due to the fact that we just had layoffs and things of that nature. I just didn't think it was wise to give anybody a pay increase. So this is public. So why do we have to discuss it one-on-one when you had us vote for a pay raise that we didn't know we was voting for? Like, I didn't know someone got a pay increase. We vote on payroll and y'all don't even give us the payroll registry. So how would I know that such and such got an increase if you don't tell us? You're the one that's over pay increases, or tell PayX to increase the pay. So can you share that with the board? Because we vote for you, what you do, but you don't tell us who got a raise and why.
My answer is still the same, Trustee Henry.
So you want me to discuss in person about a pay increase as it relates to anybody? Is that what you're stating?
My response is still the same, Trustee Henry.
I know, but Mayor, what I'm asking you is, you want me to discuss it with you?
We're going to move on, Trustee Henry.
No, we are, and that's fine. You're saying you're not going to answer, but listen.
I think I was very clear with my response. Okay.
Okay, but Mayor, listen to what I'm saying. This is not a debate. I'm trying to get my statement out.
I think I was very clear on my response. You're not going to get any further response, so we're going to move on with this meeting.
Okay, well, let me finish my last statement for my announcements. Mayor, moving forward, I will advise you to make sure you advise the board as it relates to pay increases and the reason for why anybody get a pay increase. You put things before our board and we vote on it as a board, not knowing what we're voting on. So I have a problem with that. So moving forward, I would like to see a pay registry so that we know what we're voting on, sir. So that's for the record, Mary Kay. That's the end of my discussion. Thank you.
Next thing on the agenda order of business is number 1, resolution number 20. Mary Kay, there's no resolution number here.
No, sir, those were placed on the SharePoint and emailed to everyone.
Okay, is there a resolution number?
There's no resolution number yet because this is for discussion. Should the board wish to move forward with it, then a number would be assigned to the next meeting, next voting meeting.
Supporting a proposed Class 8 classification for certain property within the village of Dolton at 15339 Chicago Road, modern way cleaners. From my understanding, this is going to be a purchase of this property that has been vacant for at least a couple of years due to the death of the owner, and the potential purchaser wants consideration for a Class 8. Trustee Denton?
Aye.
This would be for a consensus.
You want to start with the roll on this, Mary Kay?
Sure. Asking if there is a consensus to support the proposed Class 8 classification for the property located at 15339 Chicago Road. Trustee Denton, you are in favor?
Question before I do that. Is this still to be is this still to be a cleaners?
No. The owner of the property clarified that with me. The reason it's listed on the agenda is for purposes of identifying the property in addition to the address.
So we don't know what that location would be, what that location will be. But we want to give a Class 8 to something we don't know what it's going to be? Or if the people...
From my understanding, it's going to be a wholesale retail type grocer and other items that's going to be potentially that you would have at a grocery store. Like a wholesale to the public.
Thank you.
Okay.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, you may want to note that Trustee Holmes has joined us.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. So Trustee Steve, are you in favor of moving forward?
Yes, yes. Aye.
Okay, Trustee House is not with us yet. Trustee Holmes just joined the conversation. I don't know if he's in a position to say. Please let me know, Trustee. We are discussing the proposed resolution at 15339 Chicago Road. And Trustee Henyard.
Yes.
Trustee Holmes, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Did you answer? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
We're on item number 1. Trustee, the resolution supporting a Class 8 classification for 15339 Chicago Road. Mayor has indicated that this is going to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, used for a wholesale type grocery store, did you say?
It's supposed to be like wholesale prices to the public.
A grocery store.
I wouldn't say a grocery store, but like a wholesale, kind of like a Sam's Club or a,
Okay,
or a
got it.
Costco type.
Quick, I want to quick, may I be recognized? From my understanding, it's supposed to be a wholesale business, Sam's Club type on a smaller scale. They've been in business as a wholesale business since 1995. They will, we'll see a clean building right there.
Hello.
And that's what it is. And it will create sales tax revenue and employment.
Trustee Holmes, do you wish to weigh in at this time?
Yeah, do we know exactly who's going to own this facility?
Rose Bahora.
The owner is listed in the resolution as 15339 Chicago Road LLC, but I believe Mr. Vovra is the the owner of the property. Correct me if I'm wrong again.
Well, from my understanding, he hasn't purchased it yet, but
Okay.
I guess part of the purchase agreement consists whether he's going to be able to get a Class 8 there.
And he's the individual putting this forward.
Has he owned property in Dolton before?
Yes, and he currently owns property in Dolton.
Someone that we've given a Class A to prior?
Not believe so.
But where's the property owned in Dolton at?
15339 Chicago Road. The corner of 154th and Chicago Road.
No, I don't think that's what Trustee Holmes was asking. That's
The other property? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the potential property he wants to purchase. The other property that he owns, if he still owns it, is, no, I don't think he owns it anymore. I think he sold it. But was the gas station that was closed that has recently opened up at Lincoln and Sibley.
He had a gas station that was closed before?
He owned it, but he wasn't operating it. It was leased out.
Is this one of the gas stations that the village closed down?
Previously, yes, with the previous leasing.
If trustees, if after I can email everyone who doesn't know who Feroz is your number, you can call him, talk to him. He's very accessible and he can walk you through everything that he's trying to do, everything that he wants to do. So I can email the rest of the board his information. He'll be happy to talk to you.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about now. I know who it is. You know what? I'm okay with it as long as we can make sure that people from Dolton residents are getting hired. Instead of we just saying, yes, make sure that it's in there too, that we have some residents out of Dolton that are working there.
So is that a yes or a no? I mean,
it's a yes with me, but moving forward, we need to make sure when we're doing something that we're making sure that some Dolton residents are getting hired.
We've done that in the past with other new businesses that have came in. Actually, when we had over the last several years, before insisting that these new businesses that come in, we had a 17.6% unemployment rate. And then before we made concessions to them and asked them to employ our residents, we went from 17.6% unemployment in the village of Dolton to 5.6%. And those are not our numbers. Those are numbers by the Department of Labor Statistics. So every new business that have come here, we require them to employ our residents. And they have. Taco Bell, Checkers, I can't remember the others, but with Taco Bell, over half the employees when they came in were from Dolton, and with the Checkers, they hired like 71 of our residents. And also, Ardagh Manufacturing Company, we asked them when we gave them concessions in regards to the municipal gas tax. They had only had 7 of our residents working there, and then we worked with them on the gas tax concessions. We asked them to hire the next 50 employees from the village of Dolton, and they did that. In fact, they hired 77 of our residents in the village of Dolton, which also contributed to the decrease in unemployment here in the village. So that would be nothing new that we would ask new businesses when they come in to the village of Dolton, especially when they ask for concession.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with it, but moving forward, I would like to see this in black and white before they wait on until we vote to see whether we're going to vote or whether they're going to get our vote or not. To have it in black and white, that we can understand that you are going to hire people from the village of Dolton who need to work. So I'm in agreement right now with it.
Okay. I think that concludes the concession part, Madam Clerk.
Yes, 4 trustees in favor.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is the proposal by Fresh Start for 300 West Sibley. Trustee Henry.
Thank you. Hi, good evening. Jarvis, are you there, Dan?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you in. Okay, woo, I remember last time. Okay, thank you for coming on. I'm gonna just give a brief overview. Again, you guys, I invited Fresh Start to the board meeting to talk about their redevelopment of 300 West Sibley. They are a produce store that wants to come into our town, so we would receive tax revenue on this. That, as you guys know, that area has been under development forever, underdeveloped. So I would like to move forward. I know that we did start a TIF district over there, and I do know that Murphy, are you on here too? Attorney Murphy?
Here.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna let them explain everything going forward, because as you guys know, as it related to COVID and then the looting and all the challenges we had in our town, we need other resources. And as you guys know, we need a food hub. So I think that would be the perfect thing to put over there, because when we went through our hardship, we all turned to the grocery stores. And some of the grocery stores was equipped with food, and some of them you had to drive around to find food. I know I did. So I want you guys to hear from the attorney as it relates to what their decision is moving forward with that property and what we will see in the near future. Dan, floor is yours.
So we met with Mr. Murphy and Administrator Scott earlier. I believe it was Wednesday of last week, and we had Mr. Kapadukakis come there and submit his proposal. Mr. Murphy requested a few asks and wants from us. We provided them with a proposal this morning. I believe Mr. Murphy has gotten a copy of that. The short of it is that my clients have been in business for a while as a wholesale company, and now they're trying to expand in the retail grocery business, and they see that location as a hub, not only for their wholesale business, but the more lucrative retail business. And the fact that they have a cost which is less than most retail stores, because they can provide their own wholesale foods to the grocery store. So it's going to be fresh fruits, fresh produce, fresh meats, a lot of the amenities that a store would need, and it would be right in the middle of Dolton. And we're hoping that it's a hub in the south suburbs, so that other communities can come to our village, to Dolton, and spend their money, which in turn will generate sales tax for Dolton, which is much needed, especially now in this COVID pandemic when there's shortages of food.
Attorney Murphy, you got that proposal this morning. I don't think it's been shared with the board.
Well, has everybody read my memo that's attached to your agenda packet? So the next step is for us to have the consultant update its eligibility study for TIF status. We have not created a TIF district yet. So the next step is for our consultant to get paid, and the developer, to its credit, has agreed to pay $2,500 towards that, which is appreciated. And it will, according to them, it will take a few weeks to get that done. The next step is for the board, once we get that eligibility study, to start the TIF process. We've talked about that on several occasions. So everything is moving in accordance with schedule. I received from Mr. Geneva early afternoon what he called their ask list, which is the opening step of a negotiation. I told Mr. Geneva, of course, we'd take a look at it, and also encouraged him to have Mr. Kapadukakis provide the board with a full presentation. When I say presentation, I mean summary of who he is, what his business is, and business plan for this proposed development, so the board can be comfortable with it, answer any questions. So Mr. Geneva said that he was going to get to work on that, and we also discussed that point last Wednesday at our session. So hopefully we need to get the consultant paid so he can complete his work. We'll try, with the board's permission, we'll get that done. I'm not sure whether the $6,000 arrearage has been paid, but that needs to be paid, and an additional $5,000, $2,500 of which has been provided by the developer. So if If there's no objection from the board, we'll move forward with getting the consultant to update the TIF eligibility study, and then we'll try to keep it moving.
What about, have we talked about the rehab of the building? I know the rehab of the building is going to be very extensive. And I'm sorry, is it Mr. Jarvis?
It's Garbus. It's Hargy, Garbis.
Okay.
So basically, I'm sorry,
Let
Mr.
me-
Mayor.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
And what are you looking at as far as time-wise, as far as development?
Well, we're hoping once the TIF gets approved, a lot of the, we've already secured, my clients already secured about $4 million in outside financing, which will then get recovered through the TIF financing that, hopefully gets passed in the next couple of months, as we discussed with Mr. Murphy last Wednesday and Ms. Scott last Wednesday. So once we get approved for the TIF, the financing will be approved as well by we even had a financial, a bank manager there at the meeting that discussed that the financing is ready and in place. And once we get that, we anticipate within 9 months of starting construction, we'll have the place rehabbed, to make it with new refrigeration. The vast majority of the cost will be the internal cooling and refrigeration units that will be needed to house all that fresh produce and meat and make it available to the public for retail consumption.
So you're expecting the TIF to pay you back $4 million?
It's going to be over time. Yeah, it's going to be over time, Your Honor.
Are we going to be getting accountability of what's going to be spent there? So we'll make sure that the TIF is not over.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, when a financial institution is involved, everything has to be, accounted for. I mean, banks don't give you $4 million and then tell you, to do whatever you want with it. Obviously, I think the banks are going to be on top of that, and we'll, have full disclosure, full transparency. Nothing will be, underhanded. There won't be anything that's, everything's going to be above board.
So you're saying now that the $4 million has already been secured?
It's in the process. Basically, Mr. Murphy and myself have been in contact with the bank person that we met last week, and I believe that he's just waiting for the TIF eligibility to do the final, the final loan process.
Okay. Okay. What are we? Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
I would suggest that proposal that was forwarded to you this morning be given to the whole board so we can take a look at it.
Sure. Anything relating to TIF dollars has got to be by an agreement between the village and the developer.
Right.
So nothing can take place without board agreement.
Okay. So tonight we're just talking about what has happened today and what you expect to happen, Mr. Garbus. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I believe that Mr. Murphy also mentioned that we need to get the TIF, freshened up a little bit, which is why my client provided $2,500 of the $5,000 that's needed to freshen up the TIF eligibility study.
Okay. You think your client may want to help with the arrearage?
We discussed that. I believe that, $2,500 of the $5,000 that's needed now is what my client was willing to offer. If we could offer it more, I definitely would.
A lot of times if the arrearage is taken care of, immediately, they could proceed a little bit faster on what you expect to happen in the future,
I appreciate it, Your Honor. Thank you. That's always negotiating. That's great.
All right. Okay. John,
Okay.
I would suggest that you get the proposal to all the board members so we can view it before. Actually, I'm not sure if we need a consensus on anything right now without viewing the proposal.
No, everything's moving according to schedule. I think everybody wants to get the consultant paid. We owe them the money. We owe them the additional money to get the thing updated. So we'll move forward with that. That's the next step. The consultant said 2 to 3 weeks, so we'll try to button that down. So this is really a status report, no action required.
Okay, Attorney Murphy, my question to you is, you said to get him paid. So the board has already approved that and you guys are moving forward with that in the next week or two? Is that what you're stating?
Well, let me restate what I'm stating. the board had approved the original eligibility study.
Okay,
They have a bill for about $6,000.
okay.
That hasn't been paid yet, so they're owed that money. I got an estimate from them to update the study, and they estimated an additional $5,000.
So we owe the $11,000, correct?
Right. All
And
in.
2,500 of it, the produce people are going to pay, Fresh Start, correct?
25.
Yes, produce has produced 2,500.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. What do you need from us? You need us to approve the difference to pay
Yeah,
Keenan
we're gonna
McKenna?
need, yeah, I think the board, we have an agreement that we're committed to do that. So that's under the settlement agreement that we've got to move forward. So there's really no additional vote needed at this time.
Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure I got clarity. So basically, you're saying that we already agreed to pay that difference, correct? To
Yeah, we
McKenna.
agreed. Yes, we agreed this, but that's part of the settlement agreement that we've reviewed.
Okay, so you don't need no board action to pay them that difference today, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay,
so moving
next-
forward, you'll just give us an update as it relates to this situation.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But John, I'm sorry, Attorney Murphy, we still need to the board needs to review the proposal.
Oh, yeah, we're months away from having a development deal. Don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll
great.
get it to Elizabeth tomorrow, Mayor.
Okay,
Any
thanks.
board
Next
members
thing-
got any questions? Because that's the reason for this. Anybody got questions to the
I got a question. Mr. Jarvis,
Yes,
am I saying it right, Jarvis?
it's garbage, but
Is this going to be a supermarket like a Pete's Produce?
it's going to be very similar to Pete's. Yes.
So it's going to be a supermarket, another supermarket.
We're more focused on the fresh produce, fresh meats. We're not necessarily going to be, like a supermarket. It's going to be more like a fresh produce, fresh meats, fresh everything. This is going to be basically the wholesale business that my client has already provides a lot of these goods to restaurants and various end user clients. Now this is going to be another hub for them to basically get it direct to the consumers, which would be the residents of the village of Dolton and the surrounding suburbs.
So you're saying so if I go there, I can buy in bulk, like I'm a wholesaler, or can I buy from
No. You're going to buy, you could buy one fruit if you want, or a whole batch of them. You'll just get better prices because of the fact that my client also has a wholesale business that he's been operating for the last 10 plus years.
Okay.
If I can, trustee, if I can just follow up on that for a second, I need to remind everybody that the essence of this deal, and it's explicit in the settlement agreement, is that the majority of the space has to be devoted to retail so that the village will obtain the sales tax. If this were strictly a wholesale operation, there's no sales tax. So that's the essence. Mr. Kapatukakis repeatedly said he understands that, and that's the plan, and he'll need to prove that up.
That's correct. We'll also have a restaurant operation in there, and we're in talks about having a donut shop as well as a full service restaurant in there as well.
Okay, back to the money issue. I was hearing $11,000 is owed, and that Fresh Start is paying $2,500, and we're responsible for the balance.
Yes.
Yes. So just so you understand, based on the settlement agreement that was entered before I got involved in this deal, the entire $11,000 would have been paid by the village of Dolton. My client is willing to drop an additional $2,500 of the new $5,000 that's owed. The original $6,000 was done before Fresh Start was involved in this deal. So now there's a fresh $5,000 that needs to be paid, and my client is willing to split that 50-50 with the village.
Right.
Understood.
Okay, in the proposal, is it clear, and I know you just mentioned this, John, it's very clear that, now, let me go back. Attorney Murphy, you mentioned the fact that the settlement agreement said the majority of the space. Is that what the settlement agreement says, or does the settlement agreement say retail?
I don't have it in front of me, but as I recall, the majority of it, 75%, has got to be devoted to a retail sales tax producing entity, such as a grocery store, car dealer, or home improvements. Those are the three listed examples. So the grocer understands what his obligations are under this agreement.
Okay, is there any penalties in case that's not followed?
Yes, it would result in the revocation of any TIF benefit to them.
Okay,
Remember that TIF benefits, let's make sure everybody understands what the TIF benefits are. The property taxes, the vast majority of the property taxes that will be generated in the forthcoming years from this development will be all controlled by the village. And those TIF dollars under the law can be used to reimburse the developer for his eligible costs. Now, that's what their proposal is. That's their wish list. The agreement provides that our TIF benefit will be at least $2 million. Now, the development agreement that we will enter into will also provide that if the developer fails to maintain this premises as a retail facility, as we've indicated, then there's no more benefits, which won't make his lender very happy.
okay. Now, you mentioned the fact of is there a maximum? Is $2 million a maximum of the TIF benefit that the developer can obtain?
No, the maximum is a matter of negotiation between us.
Okay. The other thing, Mr. Garbus, at this time, does your client expect to have a portion of that property as wholesale?
Yes. So my client is anticipating 25% of the space will be used for the wholesale, 75% will be used for the grocery store and restaurant and other retail premises.
Okay. Attorney Murphy, is there a clause or a restriction in the proposed agreement for examination of the facility in regards to the usage of the property?
Well, that'll be in the ultimate redevelopment agreement.
Okay.
Plus, remember, they're subject to all the normal permitting, code compliance requirements of the village.
Right. And who's will be responsible for the inspection? And is it done on an annual basis, or when is it done?
Well, we can negotiate that on a periodic basis, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually.
Okay.
These are all, Mr. Mayor, what you're raising are all matters of negotiation for a development agreement. The settlement agreement just provides what I'm going to call the corral in which the ultimate agreement needs to be negotiated in.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that when we put the agreement in place, everybody understands it. And so if it's ever violated, we don't go through the expense of trying to enforce it. So
yes, we will hold the weapon of not making the TIF payments if there's a default.
okay. All right, great. Anybody else have any further? Okay, next thing on the agenda is the Ironheart drones, use of drones for medical drop-off. Trustee Henry.
Thank you. You guys, I placed this on the agenda because I'm always trying to be proactive and not reactive. As you guys know, we had a situation in town as related to looting. So I thought that it was best to make an emergency plan if something like that was to ever happen again, or say something happened to our Walgreens and no one can get medicine. So they have different programs that's out now that people can utilize drones to drop off their medicine at their home. So I put this presentation before you so that you guys can hear what she's offering and the board can make a decision on what is needed moving forward. I do know that she need an agreement between the village in order to have airspace. So Murphy, that's where you come in at to tell me how would I write that up, to utilize airspace for a mile radius for drop-off. And we can make stipulations as it relates to 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the drone to be in the air, to drop off either at your home. Senior facility is what I'm really gearing this towards, but it can also be someone's home, and if they can't get out, drive, or whatever, that can utilize this service. So we have Jocelyn here from Earhart Drones. Are you there, Jocelyn?
Yes, I am, Trustee. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. And
You're welcome.
good to see you, Mayor.
How
Mayor
you doing,
Rogers.
Jocelyn?
How are
doing?
you? Good.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time, and just for the clerk and trustees and residents, my daughter back many years ago interned for Mayor Rogers and is now a Navy veteran.
Yes.
You will be happy to know that she was at the helm of the USS Kidd when it was deployed to find the Malaysian aircraft that had gone down.
Okay.
Darren
Okay.
was on night duty.
Okay.
So I will let her know that we spoke. And again, thank you for allowing me this time to speak with you in regards to innovation and technology. As mentioned, I'm Jocelyn Floyd. I am the founder of Ironheart Drones. We are a COVID response technology company. And to make this make sense, we focus on enhanced safety measures by way of drone. A little bit about me, clearly, you know, I'm a Navy mom. I also have a son that is an athlete, football player, so I'm a football mom as well. I've been in the community engagement and tech space for over 20 years, and I love innovation. I played with, you know, remote control cars and watched Star Trek as a kid. So I am very passionate about innovation and tech in a space that we can use, you know, together as we're sharing space, especially around, you know, having a COVID response, having an immediate response after so many stores were looted that left people, you know, surely those that had, you know, medication needs, extremely vulnerable, whereas they weren't able to get out to get their medication or their pharmacy was no longer available to provide necessary meds. And that included your residency that had diabetes issues, cardiovascular issues. There were some that had extensive, you know, comorbidity issues related to COVID, of course, and those that are, you know, asymptomatic. So today specifically, I am seeking your support and approval on the use of airspace for the specific purpose of delivering medication to the senior citizen facilities of the village of Dolton by way of delivery drone, which again, as Trustee Henry mentioned, it's a 1 mile radius. So we are looking at Aperion Care, our Savior's Apartments, and the Dorchester Senior Facility, all from the base of the Walgreens located on Siblet. So now, currently, so that this makes sense, CVS and UPS are currently using delivery drones for prescription medication in the state of Florida. FAA has already approved it. It supported, you know, initially social distancing amid COVID concerns in early April. The program was launched about May 2020 recently, and again, approved by the FAA. And I've spoken with the FAA as we have some other projects going on currently. Additionally, UPS partnered with a drone company to deliver meds across the medical campus in North Carolina and Raleigh as well. So drones are being used to deliver medication across the United States, but these two are specific. So with your approval, we can meet the needs of the Village of Dolton residents, you know, with the same type of service. The first step is meeting the testing requirements for the FAA with a specific drone that is already identified. So within this protocol, this includes the type of certification of the drone, the demo flights or the test flights, and then flight plans upon completion of the first 300 flights of line of sight. All of my drones are operated in accordance with FAA law, and I do have a pilot in charge that will be manning the test flight operations and is licensed, certified, has thousands of hours of experience, and has currently been doing projects at Bessie Coleman Airport. Upon completion of the test flights, we would map out the delivery locations and coordinate with the facilities in regards to time of delivery, location of the delivery, so that this is a smooth operation. Once the operations are completed, all the flights are done during daylight hours per FAA regulation. So anything up till, you know, sunrise and then to dusk is where we would be up in the air in these 3 locations 6 days a week. Upon successfully piloting this program in Dolton, we would expand to neighboring village suburbs, just to ensure that other residents were still able to get, you know, their medication. This is a program that would be fully funded by Walgreens. And we think that it is a viable solution to those that are not in the space, whereas they are safe in going outside with COVID and being a senior And those that are asymptomatic, and I'm not too sure if, those of you are really familiar with the importance of not only testing, not just reading your temperature, but actually taking a COVID test. And if you are an emergency or essential employee, you have to test frequently. For senior citizens, if they have people that they come in contact with that are asymptomatic and don't know that they are asymptomatic, and they come into someone that has an ACE inhibitor issue, they are diabetic or have asthma, this could be what they expire from. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So we know that COVID is coming back in October, and there should be a plan in place that keeps our most vulnerable residents safe. And that is basically my ask for you currently. I do have a proposal that I can send to the board. And then I would invite you out to, see the drone and see the test flights once we start. And I'm looking for your support. What are your questions?
My first question is it being done in Illinois yet?
There are some drone activities being done in Illinois, but they're on the fire and police side.
Right.
Fire department, police departments are using them for search and rescue. They're also being used for heat sensors.
And not to interrupt you, I know that, but I mean medical.
Not for medical, no, sir.
Okay, so this would be kind of like a first test, if you will.
Right.
Program. What about FAA requirements and licensing for that specific commodity, if you will?
It's going to be the same as the state of Florida. I've talked with the FAA, at the national level, the DC office, and Walgreens, which, they're scrambling to, save, their pharmacy business amid, losing patients, one, patients that can't get out, but two, after the looting in, urban communities, Walgreens is, concerned about whether or not they're going to keep stores open. So this is definitely a solution to, keep them in the game.
How have you talked to the people at Walgreens already?
Yeah, I'm in conversation with them already.
Okay, and they are in agreement with starting in Illinois. Who's doing it in the state of Florida?
I could get back to you on that. It's the retirement home in partnership with CVS and UPS.
Okay, and is it pretty? Is there only one or two companies that's doing it, or is it starting to catch on, or what?
That's a good question. There are a couple other organizations. Amazon is in this space, UPS is in this space, Wings is in this space. Boeing has a drone division.
Yeah, I'm talking about for medical though. For prescription.
For medical, UPS has really got their hands on the rein in Florida from FAA.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that no one has did it in Illinois yet?
That is a good question. One, I think that, because I had some talks at the county level with the former chief of OEMC, and this was introduced in 2016. And the concerns were, that, one, it was going to pull away from union jobs. Another one was that they were concerned, about drones being used for, surveillance.
Okay.
And I apologize. There's a little interference. If someone could mute their phone.
Right.
Just so that I could hear the mayor, please. Okay, I'm sorry, Mayor, you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Okay, did you hear my response?
I heard, can someone mute their phone so they can hear?
Okay. Some of the challenges have been, one, taking away union jobs. The other was that people were concerned about their rights of privacy being violated, with the drone in the air, that they felt like, Big Brother was watching them. So at the time, the county had not moved forward with drone space, but I believe that is changing.
Okay, now that there's, if I'm staying corrected here, there's a move right now in legislation on a state level, and I think even on a county level for licensing drones. to be
Yes,
operated.
well, that's true. And the FAA does give you a license with a license number, just like a license plate, so that
Yeah.
when you are in the air and something happens with the drone, they can identify it on both sides. Meaning, it's a federal offense to shoot a drone down. So if you shoot this drone down, you'll probably have some problems. But two, let's say a hawk attacked the drone
Yeah.
and there was a problem, then you would still be able to trace the drone owner, back by that license plate number.
Right. Do you own drones now?
I do. Of course I do, Mayor.
Just ask- you know, I don't know. I haven't talked to you in a long while. I didn't know what you're doing.
I know,
you know?
yes.
So,
We
so
started with drones because my father, and for those that don't know, my father's a Marine, is a Marine, retired Marine,
we,
for over 30 years.
I'm not going to.
Hoorah. I know.
We got one on looking at you right now. So
I know. I remember your military history.
okay, no, I'm talking
so-
about the chief. I'm talking about-
Okay. Okay. So now, because of that, after my father retired, he started with drones, and because my son and my father are like best friends, my son ended up with the drone too. And then that's, kind of where things took off. And it was an activity, that my son and my father used, to spend time together, male bonding time. And of course, I thought that it was, a great opportunity in technology. We paid a little more attention. So when COVID hit in Wuhan, China, we saw some agricultural drones in the air, and we recognized the drones. We recognized the plating. And these were the same drones that we had in the US that were agricultural drones. So with a little research, I had reached out, and then I talked with the FAA, the EPA, Illinois Department of Agriculture, around using spraying drones to disinfect public space. And the FAA was surprisingly behind it. So this was another solution to COVID. But then as we started to talk, and we realized there were just so many other spaces that drones could be used in, that this seemed like a viable solution that we had, right at our fingertips to really help our most vulnerable citizens.
Okay, so you're not doing anything medically with drones right now?
That's correct, Mayor. Not right now.
Okay, and are you doing anything with drones right now?
We're doing a lot of testing, a lot of demos. We've done some public space. Our next demo is going to be a swarm of a stadium, meaning that we're going to put 5 agricultural drones in the air with an approved disinfectant, and we are going to spray a stadium for a football game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not sure, and John, and maybe we need to check into this. I'm not sure if we have the authority to give away airspace, since it's governed by the FAA. And I mean, what's your thoughts, John?
This is a new one on me. I'll need to research it and work with the app.
Okay. Yeah. And John, I can share my contact information with you as well, and then have you on some of the calls.
Fine.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yes.
When you say the drone operator be stationed in Dolton, because you said line of sight. So I know line
That's
of sight is at the CVS, and if they got to get it all the way to our Savior, are they going to be pre-programmed flights that they go up and come down right in front?
Absolutely.
And then the drone operator will actually see.
Absolutely.
So that's because I know you can't, when you say line of sight, you're supposed to not, when you fly the drone, you're supposed to not really not let out your eyesight unless
that's recreational. That's recreational drone space, right? So what the FAA requires is that you have 300 line of sight flights with the same drone that you are using for your delivery to get the exemption, which is outside the line of sight within that mile radius.
300 line of sight flights?
That's correct. So 30, flights a day for 10 days, just in line of sight, certified, and then you submit that to the FAA.
Now, when you say 30 line of sight flights, that's just going up, flying it around and come back down, or flying it from CVS to the actual senior?
No, it's line of sight as the crow flies.
Yeah.
Within your visual.
Uh-huh.
As you know, These drones just, do have visual, cameras and VR. So this same drone has, the VR space and the camera in real time, right? So after the 300 flights are completed and you're doing the flight program, you are able to still have, 100% visual.
Ms. Floyd, my question is, this all came about. It's so Jetson age. And that's a
I
beautiful
love the
thing.
Jetsons, though.
Yeah,
I love
very
the Jetsons,
innovative,
right?
But I'm thinking here, this will go beyond the COVID epidemic. Would this be a program that we would endeavor on far beyond, once God, gets rid of this epidemic? This is something we could continue to do for drug administration, for the seniors, beyond this epidemic. That's what my concern.
Absolutely. I mean, and I want you to think about this in the space of, a senior citizen that, let's say, in the dead of winter, when, we are 20 degrees below zero, that has asthma and COPD, are they really going to go get their albuterol? Probably not. Right. But if we could deliver it, we can put a drone in the air and they can have their medication and not even have to come outside. That creates a better quality of life for them because they're not exposed, to harsh elements. They got their medication on time and they were safe. So we knew that they didn't slip and fall outside, that they weren't waiting for a ride. They didn't have an asthma attack because it was too cold because they didn't wear their scarf. So there are a lot of benefits to this.
Second part of this is, what cost is it to the senior?
There is no cost to the senior. This is funded by Walgreens.
Okay.
Okay. I got a question, 2 questions, matter of fact. Who loads the drone?
That is a good question. That's going to be the farm tech in addition to the flight operator, the pilot in charge.
So say, for example, you get 30 potential deliveries on that day. Is there going to be someone at the site at Walgreens to load the drone?
Yes.
Okay. The other thing is, how do you view staying in a new business with the already delivery services that are out there that go to Walgreens, that go to CVS, and actually there's a lot of seniors now that don't go out and get their medicine, whether it's summertime or wintertime, because of those delivery services right now. I think that one is RX or something like that. And
right.
There's several other competitors. So, and then lastly, the elements in the wintertime, as far as service, doing, the inclement weather, 20 below and things like that. Where in Florida, you don't have those conditions to hinder the delivery or not have a delivery to a senior that's actually dependent on delivery that day.
Okay, well, let's go with weather first.
Okay.
I'm also a boater. So yes, we pay attention to weather. Elements do not affect drones the way you would think. I mean, outside of harsh rains, that would ground us, cold weather does not impact us. So we can be in the air most of that time. As it relates to the competition, I really don't think we have any real competition. One, because we're in the air, they're on the ground. Two, it is peer-to-peer contact. In order for this person, this human body to pick up this prescription, put it in their car, you do not know if they are asymptomatic, COVID positive, or have anything else while they are touching your medication, and then delivering it to a third party who then has to touch the same medication and then goes to the patient. This eliminates all of that because you only have, your farm tech that's loading the drone, putting the medication, in the box. The drone takes off, goes to the location, lowers the box on a rappelling line. Whoever is receiving the package, it could be the senior, it could be, the staff at the care facility. They take it out the box or, take it out the tray. Tray rappels back up in the line, and then the drone comes back to base and you load it all over again. And you do that as many times as you need to. And two, the drone capacity weight is about 13 pounds, give or take, right? So you could have a senior facility that has, medication for a few different patients, as long as it's within the 13-pound capacity, do this one delivery. So you say, hey, we've got one delivery to the Dorchester with, these patients and their medication. And that way, you don't have, the same, peer-to-peer contact or time, and waiting on delivery or traffic. And it's green. I'm not burning any fuel, no fossil fuel, completely
Okay.
green.
2 more questions. I'm done.
Okay.
Who unloads it at the delivery point?
Well, with the senior facilities, it should be senior facility staff, right? So whoever.
While the drone is still hovering?
Yeah, we would be about 50 feet or so. The line rappels. I'm referencing, again, all of that military experience.
Okay.
The line rappels down on the basket, to the target point. The person takes the meds, either it's on a box or it's rappelling from the line. They grab it. And, the video is on them the entire time. So once they've grabbed the package, the line rappels up. Basket is, back up, or the carriage is back up onto the drone. Then the drone is just flying back.
Okay. And then lastly, why do you think no one has thought about this or started this type of program in the state of Illinois?
Because they are not me.
Okay. All right. Any more questions, anybody?
Yeah. I just want to add to, I did stop at our local Walgreens, and Walgreens is interested and would love to know more as it relates to what we decided to do, that she can get her program. I went there and I talked to the pharmacy staff, the right people. The manager's Tony over there, Jocelyn, so they was highly interested. They just wanted to know what we was doing as it related to the airspace. So
okay.
Go talk with them, because Tony wasn't there today. But his other manager, she was there, and she was like, yes. So we just have to figure out how to execute that.
Okay. And trustee, I can share another call, with the senior and executive management team, of Walgreens, and we can do collaborative calls, to have you guys on, have council on, of course, have mayor on, in addition to, the Walgreens team and our FAA representative here at a displays, just so that, everybody is on the same page. We're sharing best practices. We're sharing with the community, to make the community feel safe. And, those that would be, using this as a service.
Attorney Murphy, what is needed from us for her to even be able to execute a plan for this? I know you say you was new to the space, but I guess you'll let me know later what's needed. Attorney Murphy? Is he still on? Let's see.
He's still here. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. There you go.
I was trying to do some research on the computer, so
okay.
I minimized you, all of you. So I have to look into it. This is 100% new to me.
Okay.
I don't think that decision is going to be made at the local level.
Okay.
I have some pretty good contacts at Walgreens that I have been in contact with ever since our store was looted. That's why we were one of the few stores that got up so quickly.
Okay.
Actually, he's a personal friend of mine on the executive level.
Okay.
So I'd like to discuss that with him.
Okay.
And, get as much information as I can and see, maybe I can get a tone in regards to the direction they would like to move in. And when you talk about Walgreens funding it, are you talking about that they funded it in Florida, or are you talking about
no, they would be paying for it here.
And you've got a commitment for that?
They are very strongly in support of making sure that their patients get their medication by any means necessary.
Okay.
Very innovative, and it sounds like a great thing.
Well, thank you.
We'll be ahead of the curve for one.
Yes.
Absolutely. But for it, and for our loved ones, my grandparents are all deceased, and I am a grandmother. and I know that, you know, for those of us that have loved ones that, you know, are struggling with comorbidity issues, you know, especially around COVID, you know, we do everything that, you know, we can to keep them safe. You know, Father's Day is coming up. And for those that have loved ones that, you know, are in a senior care facility that, you know, they're not able to hug their loved one because you're not sure whether or not you have COVID, is pretty scary, right? So if we can utilize innovation just to keep, you know, those that we love safe, you know, just until we can come up with a cure, I think that is, you know, the good steward thing to do.
Okay, anyone else have any questions? Okay, Jack, Trustee Holmes, did you say something?
Your mic is not on. Your mic is not.
Okay. Madam Clerk, I just see where Trustee House has joined us, so you might want to note that. Jocelyn,
Yes, Mayor.
Thanks for your presentation, and my number is still the same. So,
okay, thank you, Mayor. I'll follow up with you personally. Thank you so much. Thank you, board.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you. All right, next thing on the agenda is the request for proposal for the purchase of the Melanie Fitness Center. Trustee Steve.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everyone. I put this on the agenda because we're in the process of selling the Melanie Fitness. I just want to get a request for proposal. I want to put that a formal request proposal out there so we can at least get offers and get some presentations going as far as people who want to actually purchase the Melanie Fitness Center. And I just want to get the input on the board. If we can get that request proposal put together and send it out there, we can move forward with it. Any input?
I thought we had already discussed that we were going to put our RFP out.
But from my understanding, I had to make an official request for proposal and go to let the board knows that we're going to do a request for proposal. That's what I was instructed to do. So I'm just following, you know, the recommendations that people gave me.
Well, for me, everything's still.
Go ahead, Trustee.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Trustee Henry.
Thank you. For me, everything still stands. I told you last board meeting that I support the selling of Melanie Fitness and that I'll help you with anything you needed as related to District 205, 148, 149, any of those organizations that can benefit and stay within the community. You never reached out to me to do so. So if you still would like to do that, I'm all ears. Other than that, I do support the sale because I know we cannot no longer afford the Melanie. So you have my support.
Trustee House, you want to weigh in?
No, I'm in agreement. We did speak on it at the last board meeting. I'm in agreement.
Okay. All right. I guess we had a consensus from the last board meeting.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. The next thing on the agenda is citizens address. How do we conduct this with the Zoom?
Initially when we started, there was a technical issue with the Zoom, but I was able to get that resolved. So the meeting has been streamed live on Zoom and the chat box has been open. We have residents that have been watching consistently, but we do not have any questions in the chat box this time.
It can't be right.
Okay. I asked for more.
You can go to the Village of Dolton YouTube page right now and you'll see, because it's been streaming the entire time.
Yeah.
If you want to,
people always got questions, but okay.
Yeah, you can go to the YouTube page and you'll see it there.
Okay. I ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Denton. Was that Trustee Steve?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Roll call. Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
I just got here, but aye.
Nice to see you. Trustee Brown is absent. Trustee Holmes, are you there?
Aye.
Thank you. And Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Okay. 5 ayes. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
7:43 p.m.